They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Oh my God, what an intro. Welcome to Slashlight 60 Slashlot 605. Everybody.
There's no 605.
There's no 605 anymore.
Oh
God damn it, Sam. We got rid of that last
I
time.
know, I'm so used to the 605. Welcome to the Slashlot. We are homeless. No zip code, area code, whatever it is for us.
No stimmy checks for us.
Yeah.
We're Slashlot worldwide.
We are Slashlot worldwide.
We're residents of Earth.
Slashlot Earth. I'm Sam the Damned Lens. I'm joined today by my co-hosts, Blake and Stein-Ginnathan,
What up?
and Casey the Killer Kelderman.
How you doing, Samuel?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Doing really good.
Doing better that we're recording this.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Been looking forward to this.
Me too. We just saw each other last night. We were at the Historic State Theater watching not a horror movie, but it was a good time. It was a good time.
We saw a horror trailer though.
We did.
We did.
And I'm gonna
That you sons of bitches are not going to.
No.
I will be miles away when that movie is playing. Yeah.
I already have our next fan slashing that we should do.
Ooh.
Is it Eraserhead?
Is it Susan Sarandon?
Ooh, no, she's been in a horror movie.
Yeah, that's right. Rocky Horror.
That's it. Kevin Costner.
He's been in a horror movie.
What horror movie?
It's called is it called like First Daughter or the first?
It's called Man of Steel.
The new daughter or something.
Oh, I have no idea.
I don't know.
he was in Mr. Brooks, and that was a pretty good movie.
I agree. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
We'll think of something.
Kevin Costner. We can still do Kevin
I was about
Costner.
to say,
He's never
not
done
really
like
a-
full on horror. I don't
Yeah.
think.
It's not a horror name, so I still think it would work for a fan slash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What are we talking
That was
about
fun.
today, guys?
Bull Durham.
Yeah, Bull Durham.
Yeah.
We're talking about Bull Durham today.
Baseball movies. We're going to talk about all of them. Little Big League. We'll talk about the Sandlot. Sandlot heading home.
There should be
A horror baseball movie.
Subgenre of horror. Yeah.
There should, and I have been thinking of one for like 5 years, and I can't crack it.
Is it called Shin Pads?
No, that's the soccer horror
That's
movie.
soccer horror. Yeah. I would pay to watch that though. Yeah.
Soccer movies are terrible.
Is there a good soccer
Have you
movie?
ever seen Shaolin Soccer?
Okay, that's the exception
I was
to
about to
like
say,
the
I
rule.
mean-
What about the Big Green?
Yeah, like I said, there's not a lot of good soccer
Gutenberg?
I
movies.
have not seen Shaolin Soccer since I was a very wee lad,
Like,
so I have no idea if it holds up.
The game doesn't work to where you can build up to anything, like baseball or basketball where there's like a last shot. So
Mhm.
like I don't think the sports.
Although soccer does work for television because Ted Lasso. is
Yes.
fantastic.
Yeah. Oh my God, I could. Before we get on a big Ted Lasso thing, let's not talk about Ted Lasso because I love Ted Lasso.
Yeah, I know. I could do a whole podcast. about that. We are talking today about our horror blind spots. Just movies that each of us have just not gotten around to until just now.
Yeah, we
for
just
this
we
episode.
just decided like Tuesday or something.
Yeah.
Tuesday
Hey, we
night.
should do a horror blind spot where we watch a movie we've been meaning to watch for a while, and I was quick to be like, oh my God, I really gotta think about this, and then 10 seconds later I was like, I got it, and I watched it that night.
And what's funny is I know we did this because it was getting close to crunch time. We had to record this a little bit earlier, and none of us had gotten around to watching what we were initially going to watch for this episode, and so that's why we did the horror blind spot. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. I only have to watch one movie. And then I found out what your guys' were, and I was like, I have to watch 3 movies anyways. So I loved it though.
I'm not gonna
I
lie.
got to fill 3 horror blind spots
Yeah.
in for me. So,
I already forgot what yours were, so I'm excited to hear about them again. I know I've seen Casey's, so
Mhm.
I'm always stoked.
I think by now, we've all seen each other's blind spots.
Yeah.
Just via Letterboxd. Thank you, Letterboxd.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said in our group chat, I wasn't gonna hide it. It's gonna be like, if they figure it out, they figure it out. They don't. They don't. So.
And I'm glad you guys didn't hide it because I would have been silent for most of this episode.
Well, my selection, I don't have a lot to say.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't have been silent too long.
Yeah. I'm very much.
And that's not to say I didn't like it. I liked it a lot, but it's just like I don't have much to say about it.
Yeah.
So,
based on our Letterboxd reviews, I think me and Sam might have more to say about your blind spot.
I feel. Well, I'm pretty sure my score is the same as yours.
Mine, yeah.
So, but I know Sam's is 6 stars higher than my rating for it. So
mine is very high on that. It was. We'll get it.
Yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
We'll get to it. For now, should we dig into our fresh meat?
Fresh meat.
Yeah.
I still need to put some sound effects in this.
I think that was really good.
Yeah.
Fresh meat.
Fresh meat.
Like zoinks, let's do some fresh meat, dude.
Fresh meat.
There's our Scooby-Doo reference that we missed last time.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
It won't be the
Hashtag do heads.
Hashtag do heads. I know. I was so upset that I missed out on that part of my contract.
Yeah.
You didn't get paid last time.
I didn't get paid last time because I didn't reference Scooby-Doo. So I'm referencing it multiple times this episode to make sure that I get my. For
the record, you're not going to get paid more for going harder on it this week. You're just going to get paid your usual stipend. And for the record, I never get paid because I never bring up Scooby-Doo. So you should be lucky that you actually make something off of this.
That's true.
Blake is not a do-head.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not because I don't want to be. I just, I watched Scooby-Doo as a kid, and that was kind of like it. I didn't like. It wasn't a part of my life like it was for you guys.
Oh, it was 100% a part of my life.
Yeah. Have you guys? Slight aside. Have you guys ever watched the movie Mystery? Is it Mystery Team or?
Mystery Men? Is it the one with Donald Glover?
Yes.
I have not seen it yet. But
I think you guys would really like that because it's sort of like. It's not a horror movie at all, but it's the idea of like these young kids trying to solve mysteries in their neighborhood, and it's. Have you seen it, Casey?
I've seen it. I enjoy it for what
it's a lot. It's not gonna go in the Criterion Collection. It's a lot of fun though. Yeah. It's a super fun movie, so I think you'd really like it, Sam.
I think I would too, especially like seeing as I'm like a huge Donald Glover.
He's really good in the movie too. Yeah.
He's incredible.
He kind of looks like that Childish Gambino guy. You ever seen those two together?
Weird. Like,
stop it.
In the same room together.
Stop it.
He got his. Sorry, side tangent again. He got his.
We're gonna side tangent from the side tangent.
Yeah, we're gonna side tangent from the side tangent. He got his rapper name from the like Wu-Tang Clan name generator, and so I wanted to know what mine was, and it's so fitting, guys. My
is it hyperbole horror fan?
No, my rap is the Misunderstood Menace. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
That should be your new nickname for the show, the Misunderstood Menace, Sam Lenz.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who wants to kick off fresh meat?
I've probably got the least, so I will go in to mine, I think. I don't have much to say about a couple of them because they're just rewatches that I watched for fun. I rewatched Lake Placid, which I just find that movie hilarious. It's a big gator movie. Oliver Platt's really funny in it, and
is Bill Pullman in that?
Yeah,
okay.
Pullman's in it. Bridget Fonda.
Yeah.
Is it Brendan Gleeson?
Yeah, I think he's in it.
And it's just a
Betty
lot
White.
of fun. Betty White. I like that movie. It's
what did you give it?
3.5 stars.
Okay.
It's not gonna be. I don't know. It's never gonna be like a classic.
Is it like I have a category? It's like I'll watch this in 20 years again type of thing. Is that where you put it?
More frequently than that, but I don't know. I was just in the mood for something really like lighthearted, but also like horror adjacent.
Right. Yeah.
And that to me is just, it's definitely more of a comedy than a horror. So like when I'm looking for something funny.
Yeah. There's some great underwater stuff in that.
Yeah. Oh, and like the scene where it comes out and takes out the brown bear, like that freaks me out. Like that shot right there.
I haven't seen it since the when I first saw it. So
I'm very gator phobic. Like aquatic horror to me is just like one of those.
Alligators scary and everything.
Alligators scare me.
Interesting.
And
just got to run zigzags and they can't catch you.
I do like that movie a lot though, so I watch it every once in a while now.
Happy Gilmore is the scariest movie ever to Sam Lentz.
I do.
And golfers, by the way.
I do get nervous when he jumps into the pond with the game. I watch that.
Sam would be like Chubbs if he opened that crate.
I'll save that for the end because I know we all saw that and it was fun. I rewatched Peter Jackson's King Kong. For obvious reasons, being
that it's a masterpiece.
Yeah. I love it. I don't really have much to say beyond that. Besides, I definitely gave it 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, it's not a perfect movie, but it's a perfect movie. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like,
I think what it's going for is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you watch the extended cut?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like it.
Yep. It's great.
Yeah.
It's
I
one of my
like.
favorites.
I could watch a 6-hour version of that movie. I think it's
100%.
like keep inventing ways to kill off these guys and have them get into weird shit on this island because it's just nuts. And I think like
scene that got cut from the theatrical cut that is in
I'm not a big fan of that sequence.
Really?
Yeah, it feels like it's too much like the bug sequence.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
fair. But the bug pit is incredible.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a top 8 creature feature according to this podcast.
Yeah,
as it should be.
I also watched the Hotel Transylvania short Monster Pets that they did, just kind of amping up for the new Hotel Transylvania, and it's the first Hotel Transylvania where Adam Sandler is not voicing Dracula, and the guy they got, I think his name is Brian Hull. He actually does a pretty good job. I could definitely tell it wasn't Sandler. It sounded a little different. And at first I thought it was just because it was like a promo short and it wasn't like the real deal. And then that news broke that Sandler was not going to be returning for the 4th one. I'm still very excited because I like this franchise it's light fluff. It's kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's a kids movie, but it's entertaining as a monster fan. So I'm excited for that. And then the one that I know we all saw, I obviously watched Godzilla vs. Kong. Oh. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Adam Wingard, kind of, after a couple movies that were meh for me, I really enjoyed this one. So I'm excited to see what he does with the Thundercats.
Yeah. I feel like I'm the only person who really liked Death Note.
You are the only
and
person.
I completely understand why. I get it. It's not a good movie, but I just really enjoyed it.
I didn't hate it, and I've never watched the original anime.
If you guys listened to his,
I do enjoy it.
If you guys listened to his interview with Mick Garris,
I haven't yet.
His newest one?
Yeah.
No, not
he
yet.
pretty much admits that he
did it for the paycheck.
He doesn't flat out say it, but he kind of says that he went the wrong way with it. So which I find really interesting. But
yeah, well, and from what I hear from fans of the anime, it wasn't at all like it. And
it doesn't hold a candle to the anime.
Yeah. And he wasn't trying to make the anime.
Yeah,
he
exactly.
he got accused of whitewashing and all that, and he's just like, listen, I'm not making a version of, I'm just making a version of this. I'm not trying to replicate everything from this, and he knew he wasn't gonna be able to do that, and so.
I will say, like, my feelings on the film itself are mixed, but I do love Lakeith Stanfield.
Yeah, he's really good, and I really like the main actor in it too.
Yeah,
I don't know his name, but
it's one of the Wolf brothers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize there was. Wait.
Yeah, it's like there's Alex and Nat Wolf.
Those guys are brothers? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They are part of the Naked Brothers band.
They are. They're part
For real?
Yeah.
Yeah, they started off on like
Nickelodeon. Yeah.
Jeez, I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's what I get for doing a podcast with kids. Okay, I didn't know that. That's super cool. So yeah, I liked Godzilla vs. Kong. I didn't like it as much as King of the Monsters. I know it's another controversial statement, but
I'm with you, Blake.
As far as what I want out of a Godzilla, a kaiju series or a movie, King of the Monsters delivered all of that for me versus everything else in the MonsterVerse. And I know, God, I'm going to be controversial again. Like, I'll be honest, Kong Skull Island is my least favorite of the entire series, really? and I really like it. I think it's a really good movie, but like I would place the Godzilla above it, and then I'd go Kong versus Godzilla, and then I'd go King of the Monsters. And I know King of the Monsters is a bad movie, but like it gives me what I want, which is an hour of monsters destroying Earth. So
would you consider yourself more like Godzilla or
100%?
More Godzilla?
Yeah. I grew up.
I'm more Kong.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up watching. The thing is like there's more Godzilla universe to explore than there is Kong. Like, so I saw Kong stuff when I was a kid. I watched them all. My dad had them all on VHS, but my dad also had a bigger selection of Godzilla movies. So I grew up with Godzilla and Mothra and all that stuff.
Well, Godzilla was kind of a bigger blind spot for me until very recently. I didn't even watch the 2014 Godzilla until probably couple years back. So I just think that maybe I don't know the franchise of Godzilla enough to really have that connection to it, but I do enjoy it, and I've been grappling with getting the Criterion box set, the Showa era one.
I don't love it that much.
No, I don't know.
You can probably find them on VHS. So,
Also, they're all on the Criterion channel.
Yeah, they're on the Criterion channel. I know most of them are on HBO Max.
Yeah, it's the same ones. Yeah.
Cool. So, I liked it. As a Kong fan, I definitely think I got more of my money's worth than Godzilla.
It's not a Godzilla movie.
Yeah, it is a bad Godzilla movie.
Yeah. But I did enjoy it. It was big dumb fun. And that's
and I'll be honest, maybe the past year has conditioned our minds into thinking that it might be better than it actually is. Because, it's like, oh, we finally get to go watch a big movie in the movie theaters again. And, like I remember when I went and saw it with our friend Derek, and I was amped. And so, like I'd be curious to see how it holds up on a rewatch in like a year when like normality has set back in. But for now, it's a good 3.5 star movie for me. So
I've watched parts of it on HBO Max since my theater, just like skipping through to like the fight scenes and stuff. And I love those sequences. They're a lot of fun. But yeah, it's full of plot holes. Doesn't make a lick of sense. The human characters are just there, but I do enjoy it.
I think when I rewatch it, I will just skip to like the last 40 minutes.
The last 40 minutes.
I could really care less about really anything else in that movie.
The
Godzilla they set up in this universe is a hero, and then when he shows up in this one, he's just like wrecking stuff, and it doesn't make any continuity sense, which kind of threw me off right away. It's like,
yes and no.
Why are we not on his side?
Yeah, I mean, we don't find out right away, but he's actually trying to save.
Yeah. But
people,
I don't know. And maybe it was just because I watched Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla like a week before and kind of was hoping for that type of storyline where it was literally just a skin suit over the mecha suit.
Oh, yeah.
And they could have framed it that way. But
I mean, really like the Mechagodzilla design.
Mechagodzilla's cool. He's cool.
Yeah, it's all right. I really enjoyed Damien Bisher, who is just shoot up this. Like he knew exactly what movie
he knew
was
what
in.
movie he was in.
Yeah.
And I like the main actress. What's her name? Not the
Rebecca Hall.
Rebecca Hall.
Yeah, she is.
Her and the kid were the only human characters I needed. I didn't need anyone else. Could have used those two, and then the guy who creates Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, I didn't need MacGruber in this. So.
No, I didn't need anyone from Godzilla King of the Monsters. I didn't need what's his name, Julian Dennison. Didn't need him.
What are you talking about? It was totally cool watching two teenagers in a conspiracy nut with a podcast break into the highest level of a multi-billion-dollar tech conglomerate with little to no. That was
and pull a Jurassic Park, and I can hack into this system,
and then just dump coffee over everything. Yep. Oh God, love you, Adam.
I love this.
Granted, this is his best. This is his best movie since The Guest, easily.
Yeah. But not a lot of
not much competition.
Not hard.
Yeah. Go and rewatch Blair Witch.
Casey and I have talked about it. I dig the Blair Witch remake or whatever sequel.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
been diminishing returns with me when I watch that one.
Oh really? See, I've liked it more.
It gets worse when I rewatch it.
My biggest issue with that one was just I felt like there were interesting ideas in there, especially like the body horror aspect, the thing in her foot.
Yeah, those are fun.
For me it's
fun, but
it
never leads anywhere.
Yeah. I don't think it's great, but
I also didn't like him and Adam Wingard and Simon Barrett shitting on Book of Shadows
Oh, for real?
in the press. I'm like,
Oh,
come on, guys, your movie is not that much better than Book of Shadows.
yeah.
I've never seen Book of Shadows.
Also, I'd argue that Book of Shadows is better, but
Book of Shadows is much better.
that's just me.
I'll have to check it out. All right, that's it
That's
for
it?
my recent watches. So my fresh meat.
I'll go into mine because I have Godzilla vs. Kong we talked about, and then you mentioned you watched Lake Placid. I watched the other big 90s monster movie, Anaconda.
Oh, nice.
Anaconda rips.
Anaconda rules. John Voight is just chewing up every scene he is in. He is so goddamn good in this movie. Pretty sure he's given zero direction because he is just off the wall. Awesome. in
I'm
this
pretty sure
movie.
he ignored direction.
Probably.
Actually.
Well, he is an asshole, so he probably did. Which I'm fine with because he's awesome in this movie. I also love that this was what late 90s, 97,
Yeah, I think
something
so.
like that. That we have Ice Cube and Jennifer Lopez as the leads. Like we have two people of color as the leads in a big studio monster movie.
Mhm.
Like we don't even get that now. It's like it seems very strange. And I think for what both of them being really non-actors at this point, I think they're both pretty good. Ice
Yeah.
Cube's fun, and Jennifer Lopez isn't given a lot.
I mean, Jennifer
do.
Lopez is a good actress.
She is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She is.
Yeah.
But
Her role in Hustlers was.
Yeah. Also, not
Yeah.
to mention Selena.
Selena is
Yeah.
great. Yeah. But she's not given a whole lot to do, which is fine. But her and Ice Cube are fun. Yeah, I think most of the effects hold up really well. There's one CGI effect with Owen Wilson that isn't great. Wow, guys, I just got eaten by a snake. Wow, I can't believe this. His heel turn is pretty hilarious in this, where he switches sides and joins up with John Voight, because I cannot buy Owen Wilson as a bad guy at all.
What
Yeah,
year did this come out?
I think 97, we said, right? Something like that.
So someone saw Bottle Rocket and was like, we're putting this guy in a giant snake movie.
Yeah, 97. That was because I had to watch Lake Placid versus Anaconda for the Backlot podcast. That movie's not good. It's definitely a Sci-Fi Channel movie. But if you like Sci-Fi Channel movies, it's on the better end of those. That's all I will say about that one. Watched AVP for the podcast. Didn't like it as much as the first time I watched it. It is so slow and boring for a movie about aliens and predators. It just takes forever. Like Sam, when we did Freddy vs. Jason pretty much starts off.
Yeah.
First 15 minutes, Jason kills someone.
Yeah. It literally starts off with him like chasing down a half-naked girl.
Yeah.
And it doesn't let up from there.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not a good movie, but it's incredible.
It's well paced for a horror movie, like a teen slasher movie. This one is not. This one is terribly boring.
It's one of my favorites, and it's because it's just like it's a go for broke, like throw everything in the kitchen sink into it.
Yeah.
And from what I remember of Alien versus Predator, which I haven't seen since probably middle school when it came out, I didn't care for it very
Yeah,
much.
it's not good. It's not good. Then a couple of these that I think we have talked about on the podcast before, so I'll kind of touch on them briefly. I watched Isle of the Dead, which Sam, you brought up a few weeks ago. Boris Karloff.
Where did you watch this at?
It's on Shudder right now, I do believe.
Okay.
Yeah, they added a bunch of like 40s and 50s horror movies on their list for this past month.
Like the same producer,
Val Lewton collection. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Criterion Channel did a Val Lewton thing a year and a half ago, and I wish I'd watched some of that. Oh,
Yeah.
dumb.
Hop on Shudder.
Pretty sure I have.
You might have one of ours, probably. If not, I can.
I was about to say, if you don't, I can always.
Yeah, I mean, we'll figure that out afterwards.
Isle of the Dead is a lot of fun. Like Sam said on his, like, watching this in 2020, it's one of those movies that kind of gives new light to it, because it is about this this military general played by Boris Karloff. They go to this island, and it's basically a self-contained story on the island about this like disease that's killing people getting out, and no one can leave the island because they don't want it to spread. I'm like, watching that in 2021 is interesting, to say the least. And then it is sort of a vampire folktale type of story by the end of it. I think Sam, you mentioned it, that has a great jump scare at the end.
Yeah. Did you jump at all?
No, I didn't jump, but it's a great jump scare.
Yeah, it is. Like I mean, I knew it was coming, but damn, like
It's effective.
I was like leaning in because I was like waiting for it. I'm like, oh my god, this is so tense. This is so tense, and then it gets you, and I jumped harder than Maria, and then she laughed at me. Which it's usually the other way around. So that just, I don't know. I really enjoyed this movie. I think we gave it the same rating though, like 3.5 stars, because it's not perfect.
No,
there are some pacing issues, I think, but yeah, I like this movie a lot.
And it's one of those older movies, like I think we mentioned when Sam, you talked about it, that it could get a remake and you could modernize this pretty easily.
Oh yeah.
Definitely think there is a version of this movie that can exist in present day.
Yeah, 100%.
Another one that we did talk about before, I know both of you guys, I think we all mentioned it on different episodes, is Psycho Goreman, the best movie of 2021 so far. Oh my God, this movie is incredible.
I will genuinely be surprised if all three of us don't put it on our best of 2021 by next year. I will be genuinely shocked with how much love.
Well, wait. Oh yeah, of our horror. Okay, yeah.
Of our horror.
On my top 10 overall, probably not. But who knows at this point? But yeah. I love this movie.
It's easily going to make our horror list. I think for me and Sam, it will probably make our best of any movie.
It'll be close. Yeah.
I was about to say,
it just depends what I see this year. You know.
So far, it's definitely.
But it's
my top 10 of the entire.
Yeah.
I have a letterbox list of my favorite movies of the year so far. I only have 3, and they're all horror. And this is one of them. This is my favorite movie of the year so far.
It's so much freaking fun.
Yeah.
And like I bought the DVD at Walmart because that's all they had was the DVD. Didn't have the Blu-ray out there. Otherwise I would have bought that. But like I'm glad I bought it because I just want to rewatch this movie over and over. It feels like a Saturday morning cartoon that I could just pop on while I'm eating a big bowl of cereal and watch this and then watch an episode of Power Rangers right after, or or watch Rawhead Rex right after. Either one makes sense.
I want to know where they found this little girl at. Like,
she's
she knows exactly what kind of movie she's in, and she can't be more than 12 years old, 11 years old, and she's just so fucking funny. She is so funny.
I listened to an interview with the director, and he said that's just her. She's not playing a character. That's literally just her. Like, oh, could you imagine her on set then? If she's acting like this during the movie?
Yeah. And like I said in our group, my favorite part of this movie is like all of a sudden like PG shows up and he's dressed as Alan Grant from Jurassic Park. And it's like if you don't know the reference, you don't know it. But if you do, it's because they never talk about it. I thought that was just the funniest thing in the. Like, oh my God!
There's so many things that work in this movie because they don't just directly reference shit. Like it's literally like, I mean, the kid that gets turned into a brain and like he's the only one that seems affected by the fact that he is a brain.
Yeah,
they never go to like his parents until the end of the movie.
Also, like
why they should be concerned about him, and it's just he's a brain. Now. That's it.
His parents are just eating breakfast.
Yeah. Also, like, am I wrong in saying that like this is sort of a flip on the whole genre where like they're helping the bad guy of the movie, like
they're helping Thanos,
right? Yeah, the lady who comes on to kill PG is like she's the good person. Yeah, okay, that's what I kind of thought. I thought that was the funniest. I love this movie.
It's so funny because like if you think about it from just a realistic standpoint, this movie is dark as hell.
Yeah.
And yet it doesn't feel like it. Like it feels like a movie that you could put on anytime.
I love like the council of aliens who are like, all right, we got to commit suicide because he's coming for us. And like one guy just grabs a gun and shoots himself. It's just a stupid. It's so good. It's a great little movie.
It knows exactly what type of movie it is.
Yeah.
It just goes for broke.
Yeah. And then like, I mean, I could go on all day about this, but like they play that game where the lady's like, how do you play this game? And like they never really explain it to where like the audience even follows along and they don't even care.
They're just like, shut up.
Yeah.
This is the incredible movie. It's gonna be on Shudder this month. Yeah. So if you haven't watched it, please watch it. This movie's incredible. Yeah. Perfect horror comedy.
I'm so glad my coworker turned me on to this.
I bought it on Blu-ray and I'm thinking I have to get the Blu-ray.
God, the dad in this movie is so goddamn relatable. It's hilarious.
He's also just
makes he makes chicken in the microwave and it just like explodes in there and just leaves it. It's so funny. Oh, yeah. We could go on and on about Psycho Goreman.
Yeah. I'll be honest, like in the future, I wouldn't mind doing a Psycho Goreman episode. Where
we could cover his
special.
filmography. I think he has a fun filmography to do.
See, and this is the first I've ever seen from this guy. So
you've never seen The Void or his
I've
Leprechaun?
Not seen The Void, no.
Oh man, I love The Void.
What?
He did Leprechaun Returns.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
Leprechaun Returns.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it's missing Warwick Davis, but I like that movie.
I think he's 3 for 3 personally.
Yes.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
We could do an episode on him.
Yeah.
I watched Night of the Comet, Sam's favorite movie of all time, starring his all-time movie crush, Kelly Maroney. This movie is okay.
This movie is a 5-star banger. It's a classic. I love it.
This movie is a lot of fun for 2/3 of it.
Technically, Casey did give it 3 stars.
I did get it is a recommend. It is okay.
Yeah,
I'm not rushing out to rewatch it like I would like a Psycho
This
Goreman.
feels like a remake of the Omega Man with Charlton Heston, where like everyone's
like Last Man on
they're
Earth.
just like driving in LA.
Except for more fun.
I don't know, man.
There's one. It's in the mall that's super fun, but then you get all this weird government.
I'm not crazy. I just don't give a fuck.
There's this at the end with the government stuff where they like fake her death, Kelly Maroney's death, and then they end up at this government facility that's. What are they even trying to do?
The government is. I don't know. You're asking questions.
I mean,
this is your favorite movie ever.
To be fair, the government never knows what it's doing.
No, they don't. So it's very realistic in that manner. But
I just love this movie.
I wish it was more Dawn of the Dead throughout, and we just stayed in the mall. Like that's where this movie should have stayed. Because I love by the end of it, you're kind of back at the mall, and they're kind of the surrogate family, and the dude shows up that had the high score on the video game.
Yeah.
And shows up and takes Kelly Maroney. I'm like, that's fun. That's fun. I don't need any of this government BS boring.
See, I liked all
stuff.
that. I don't know. Like, this movie is Looney Tunes. Like, it's not. I can't quite put my finger on why I like this so much. Because you're right. In all of these aspects, you're not wrong. There's not a lot of sense to, like, what is the government doing? What are they trying to accomplish breaking into the government facility? All this kind of stuff. But what this movie has is just like this tone and these 2 leads that just sell everything. And I love that. I don't know. Because is it Mary Catherine Stewart?
Not sure. The lead?
Those are
sure.
Those are the 3 names. I just don't know which.
I don't know.
They go. I know Stewart isn't the first one. I know, but yeah, her and Kelly Maroney, they just have so much chemistry. B, I don't know. It's so 80s.
It's very 80s.
Yeah.
I'm just a sucker for that.
Stranger Things wishes it was this 80s.
Yeah, exactly. Like, when I think 80s movie, like Night of the Comet is now one of the first movies that pops up. I'm not talking like when I think 80s horror.
I'm so glad you didn't see this before our horror draft.
Yeah.
I did watch this.
Oh, did you?
Oh. Surprised this made it before Chopping Mall.
The only reason I didn't play it was because, well, A, yeah, I played Chopping Mall, and B, I just knew you guys hadn't seen it, and so I put it in my honorable mentions because realistically, I know I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Realistically, I know it's not like a 5 out of 5 movie.
Yeah.
It just is personal.
It's like my Wayne's World 2 rating. It's 5 out of 5, but it's probably closer to a 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wayne's World 2 is a 5 out of 5.
Rating for me, like the 5 out of 5, just because I watched it and flaws and all, I just love this movie front to back.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's good.
If you've heard me gush about Chopping Mall and related to that, go watch Night of the Comet, but be aware that you might react the same way as Casey.
Kelly Maroney, please come on our show. Sam, we're still waiting on you to get that.
I know. That is my goal. Hashtag if it happens. Yeah, I would love to get Kelly Maroney on our show. Absolutely love it.
Rewatch I had House of Wax, the remake. with
Man,
Paris
you are watching a bunch
Hilton.
of these like bangers. And you don't like them as much as me.
I don't. No, I don't. But I liked it more than I did the first time I watched it. So it's growing on me. House of Wax is definitely growing on me because the first time I watched it, hated it with a passion. This time I at least enjoyed myself watching. I still have some of my same problems. Everything with Paris Hilton is cringe. Everything with
I think she's really good in the movie.
oh, she's horrible.
She has the best. Well, aside from Jared Padalecki, who just like gets annihilated in this movie, she has the best death scene.
I don't. Yeah.
Oh, she has a great death.
I guess
scene.
I don't know the problem with her because she plays a horror person exactly the way it's supposed to be done. Like she's annoying. She gets murdered in a great way. Like I guess I don't see the problem with it. There's a great. She participates in a great joke at her expense about her in the movie. Like I think that's really cool.
Like being on tape while having sex with the dude.
Yeah.
That's where my problems come in. It's like it's too on the nose at that point for me.
Oh.
I also don't like.
I guess the breaking headline here is Casey doesn't like to have fun.
I hate fun. Fun is annoying.
You're a fun hater like Casey.
You'll hate House of Wax and
I think House of Wax has absolutely bonkers production design.
It does.
It's incredible.
Chad Michael Murray is another problem I have in this movie where he's like, I'm the cool dude and I have to take off my shirt because women like. Yeah, and I don't like. That's another problem I have. It's just those two actors are too much of like stereotypes of what you would cast.
We're just gonna attack each other for every movie that we don't like that somebody else loves.
Yeah. Okay, but big but. Like Blake said, the production design is great. All the kill scenes are incredible. The villains are really fun. It definitely does have this like 50s like aesthetic to it yet, like with the brothers being separated at birth and one of them is missing an eye because of it and has the wax over his face because of it. I think that's a lot of fun. Like that feels like straight up like I said, straight up House of Wax original or like 70s grindhouse gross horror movies.
I love the kind of twist with the brothers at the end where like the brothers aren't exactly who you would expect. I mean, you could kind of see it coming, but like I just think it's cool that the like in the beginning with the kid who's like handcuffed to the high chair or whatever, it turns out to be the like one that doesn't have like the missing eye and all that. Did you not?
Yeah, I caught that.
Oh, okay. Oh, I just think that's cool. I don't know. Like you can see it coming, but I still like that it went forward. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one because I'm hearing crickets.
I think the house, the actual House of Wax and the city is really great. Like it's such a great design. Like nowadays they wouldn't build that for a horror movie. Like we would probably just get the House of Wax. We wouldn't get the entire city, or it would just be green screened, a lot of it. But I love that they actually built like this entire city just for this movie. I think that's a lot of fun.
And poor Jared Padalecki. Oh my god.
He kind of deserved it.
What?
Yeah.
He's like he's one of the only likable characters in the movie. And like he literally gets his face like peeled off and then he melts, like gets burned alive. Like it's awful. It's awful. The face peeling scene, just like I love it. Yeah,
it's I think all the the effects are great. It's just I don't like the characters very much, and that's fine. It's a horror movie. I should be used to it by now.
You played Jason Lives at number 10.
Oh God, here we go.
Tommy Jarvis is more likable than anyone in this movie, Sam. And there's actual kids in Jason Lives, so there's actual stakes to that movie.
Disagree. I think the two killers in the House of Wax remake are more likable than any character in the Friday the 13th movie.
Moving on, Creep Show episodes 1 through 3 so far.
I saw those too.
First episode is incredible. Both parts are great. The first part is about this horror kid who just loves horror movies and builds like model kits out of them. And after his mom passes away, his asshole asshole uncle
Kevin Dillon,
who is
from the Blob.
He's so good at just being an asshole. Basically, like, berates this kid. He's like, you need to play football. You shouldn't be playing with your dolls in here. You're stupid. Like, just drinks beer all the time. Just a burnout douchebag uncle, and he gets what he had coming to him by this kid.
Yeah.
So this feels like a Greg Nicotero story through and through. Obviously written and directed by Greg Nicotero. And then part 2 of this episode is just as great, where it's literally if Evil Dead took place in a public access.
It's Bob Ross versus the Evil Dead.
Yeah, it is Bob Ross versus Evil Dead, plus a little Antiques Roadshow in there as well. And a kids
with like reading Rainbow.
Kids reading Rainbow stuff in there. Oh, it's incredible. Ted Raimi plays himself. Yeah. Which I found very confusing, but I loved it. He shows up with the Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead, and he's like, "Yeah, this has been in my family fruit cellar for years." So many on the nose references of this movie. Yeah, this one's a blast. I loved it. It takes place in the Evil Dead universe. That's what I like to believe. This is just part of that universe.
Yeah,
so many references to it.
Great.
Even the puppet that's on the kids' TV show character's hand is named Henrietta.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is the woman from that Ted Raimi plays in Evil Dead 2.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I didn't love 2 or 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I loved the third one. I thought both of those segments were really strong. The second episode, I liked the first segment, the one with the murder house. I thought that was kind of fun.
With Ali Lauder and C. Thomas Howell.
Yeah, C. Thomas Howell. C. Thomas Howell is...
He's good. He's really good. He is really good in that. The ending didn't do it for me.
Yeah, the ending's a little...
tacked on.
But, like...
I'm going to plug my ears. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. I like it when Creepshow dives more into the humor.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that the axe murder was
fun
great at like being funny and also like having a little bit of the scary, the tension and all that. The second segment didn't work at all for me. It just felt like there was too much going on and it didn't make a whole lot of sense. Characters' motivations were all over the place. Like, is
that the bug extermination? Yeah. With maybe the most star-studded cast they've had.
Yeah.
Of the series so far.
And it's great. Like, Keith David is incredible in that segment. The issue is
it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
No.
It feels like Nicotero had these bug ideas.
Yeah.
He's like, I have these awesome bugs and I want to include big bugs and the bugs are all awesome, but there's not really a story.
There are some good practical effects in it. Like that's the best thing I can say about this segment. Otherwise it fell flat. Like, you don't know if the exterminator is like meaning to be.
And why is Keith David an exterminator by the end of it?
Yeah, it's so weird. The third episode is fun. I love the spaceship one. The alien design
that one is fun.
Is so freaking cool.
Mm-hmm. Joe Lynch wrote and directed that, which I think is cool. He's doing next week's episode too.
Is he really?
Yeah, one of them.
God. I'm so excited. And then I loved. To me, the second segment was kind of like Ginger Snaps meets Fright Night.
It got better as it went on. It was cringe the first 5 minutes.
Oh, God. The first 5 minutes hooked me.
Oh, really? Man.
I thought it was funny. Molly Ringwald being like the school counselor that's literally like totally disinterested in what this girl is saying just like cracked me up. It was just, I liked it a lot. Had some good gore. The vampire design.
The vampire design is incredible.
It's so good. Like, that's what I like about this Creepshow season is like the creature designs. They're all things that you would think, oh, they could fall back on cliches.
Yeah.
But they don't. They take it and they turn it into something very unique to Creepshow. And I think that's awesome. So
feels like they got some money behind this season, which I really like, because this Creepshow should have some money behind it. I think I'm loving watching this every week though.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
If I don't like one segment, I usually like parts of other ones. So
yeah. And I think.
And they last season started off with a 1-2 punch in their first episode too. It was just like, how do you top this after that?
This is far and away better than season 1.
I think they're on par. I think they're both really good.
A little more colorful, a little more lively, leaning into the humor a little bit more than I remember season 1. So I don't know. I like this season a lot. You can check out weekly reviews on Backlot 605.
Shameless plug. I think the only we're good. Last one, shameless.
You fucking dorks.
We'll have to do it. Let's do a creep show episode when this season ends.
Yeah.
Talk about all the movies in both seasons of the show.
Yeah, because I still haven't seen Creep Show 2 yet. So I've heard you guys talk very highly of that. So I'm excited to see
I've never seen Creep Show 3,
It
which I've heard is horrible.
sucks balls.
But I will watch it.
It's really bad.
I'll watch it for that
It's really
episode.
bad.
I'll watch it for an episode, but I didn't even know.
I'm not going to rewatch it, just FYI.
That's fine.
It's okay.
So,
last one, shameless plug. Me and Sam did a watch along for Dementia 13
Oh, yeah.
for Francis Ford Coppola month. It's fine.
It's
Has
it
some
doesn't hold up
fun
as much
horror
as I
moments.
remember it,
Yeah.
but the pacing is off.
Yeah.
It's not great, but the murder scenes are all
Really fun.
Uh,
This Coppola guy is going some places.
yeah.
He might win an Oscar or two.
Oscar someday.
That's it. And then the last ones we'll talk about in the main topic.
oh boy, I guess it means it's my turn. Okay, I'm not going to go in order of what I watched because I want to kind of like build up to my favorites. I watched a movie called Jack's Back, starring James Spader from the late 80s. He plays a young doctor who works at like a clinic that helps out people who like don't have health insurance and stuff like that. They they give care to people who need it. And when we start the movie, there is a guy going around killing women, sort of in the same way that Jack the Ripper did, and it's like 100 years to the time, 100 years to the day or whatever. And so I'm not gonna ruin. There's a freaking great twist on his character about 25-30 minutes in the movie that was just like, oh my god, this is really, really cool. So I'm not going to ruin that. I saw it on Amazon Prime. It's a lot of fun. Nothing more than the 3-star movie, but there's some really, really fun twists in it, and Spader rules in it. So I recommend that. I rewatched Midsommar, and it's a 5-star movie for me. It's pretty great. I don't have much to say about it.
Have you watched the director's cut?
No, I have not.
I have it. I've had it on Blu-ray for over a year now, and I still haven't watched it. And I need to get on that.
Yeah.
That's all right. No, I love Midsommar.
I rewatched Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon. This just does not work for me. Also not a found footage movie. I don't know where that fucking crazy idea came from. But
last 30 minutes is totally a found footage movie.
What?
Last 30 minutes.
The last 30 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Or, sorry, the first 30
the first 30 minutes.
Yeah,
I was saying like there's a literal camera movement.
Sorry, the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think this movie would rip as a short, like 20-25 minute movie.
It just didn't engage me the whole way.
Yeah, the guy who plays Leslie Vernon is incredible. He's really good. I sort of wish he was doing some bigger things. I completely forgot that they somehow like were able to get Psycho Killer by the Talking Heads for the ending credits, which the ending credits are really cool because it's security footage of a morgue and Leslie Vernon like rising from the dead to that's really cool. But overall, like I don't think this movie's great by any means.
I'm the same. I like it a lot. It's got its great moments. Like
yeah,
said, but
I think there's a great idea in there. I just don't think it executes well for me. Yeah. Like Robert Englund like does nothing in this movie. Like I don't know why you cast Robert Englund and then like he just dies.
Robert Englund doesn't do anything that's not a Freddy Krueger movie.
I'm sorry.
He rules in Urban Legends.
Yeah, I was about to say he steals the scenes in Urban Legends. Like he's great.
Good. He's also in Lake Placid versus Anaconda for no reason at all.
That's different. That's different. I watched Jacob's Wife Friday night.
God, I pre-ordered it and I didn't get to it.
It's awesome as hell. Barbara Crampton's never been better.
Nice.
Larry Fessington's really good as her husband, who's a preacher or a minister. I'm not gonna. Do you guys know what it's about?
Yeah.
No, I'm going into this as blind.
Okay, I'm not gonna say anything then.
It's my turn to like plug my.
No. I'm not even gonna say anything. So it definitely.
Me and Sam know the subgenre that it is.
Yeah, we know it's a vampire.
Okay, perfect.
That's
Okay.
all
I was gonna go. Okay, there is this movie does something that maybe I've never seen before.
With a vampire.
Right. So like, I don't want to ruin it. It's not spoilers.
I don't know. I'm gonna plug my ears just to be safe.
That's fine.
For the rest
Totally
of the
understand.
I've listened to podcasts.
Okay, there's
Barbara
a
already.
part where like someone's vampire teeth marks in their neck starts to like throb like a heart, like it's hungry, and I've never seen that before, and I thought it was super cool. I'm done. Yeah. So Barbara Crampton rules in this. There's tons of blood. It's funny when it needs to be. It's very dramatic. It actually has something to say about like a marriage. I had a lot of fun. I wasn't expecting anything from it, and I really liked it a lot. So I think you guys will like it more than me.
I'm so stoked to watch this.
Yeah.
I
have a feeling we'll like it like we did 10 Minutes to Midnight. Feels very similar in terms of the themes they're going for. And
that
I
was
love
my first thought when I heard about this movie was I'm like, this is gonna be the year of like 80s scream queens coming back with vampire flicks.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Kelly Maloney's project.
Yeah.
And I like Travis Stevens, so I'm glad he did a follow up.
I rewatched Kill List by Ben Wheatley. I didn't like it the first time, and it's on the Criterion Channel right now, and I watched it last weekend, and boy, this is a barn burner. Like this is, I don't know, like what I didn't like about it the first time, but I loved it this time around. If you watch it, I'd recommend watching it with subtitles because the English accents are so they're so authentic that it's really hard to like pick out what people are saying. I'm not going to reveal.
Similar to The Witch.
No.
Oh, okay.
Just like Tenet.
Okay.
Honestly, kind of something like that. It really does feel like the voices are down mixed in the movie. Basically, it's about this guy who's a contract killer. He got injured on a job like a year earlier, and he's kind of been doing nothing. And then his partner comes back and is like, "Hey, there's this job that these people want us to do. We got to kill 3 people. We get paid a lot of money." And he accepts, and with like each kill, like the path gets darker and darker. And I'm not gonna tell you what happens. All I would say is just do not watch any trailers. Don't read anything about it if you don't know anything about it. But like the last 20 minutes is incredible, like incredible. And I'm not even going to reveal what subgenre it is because that would just ruin everything, sort of. But like the final like 5 minutes is pretty like pretty nuts in terms of like what this guy does unknowingly. And my wife walked in and she's like, "Well, what's going on? Like, what's happening in this movie?" And I explained to her, and she goes, "Jesus Christ, what are you watching?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, it's pretty nuts." So anyway, I highly recommend Kill List.
Is Ben Wheatley the same guy that did Free Fire?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's the only movie of his I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah.
One, so.
Yeah, Free Fire is really good. His new movie just came out this weekend, actually.
Yeah,
In This Earth or something like that. In the Earth. Yeah. The last movie I watched, not the last movie we watched, the last movie I'm saving, is called The Empty Man. Guys, I love this movie. Like, it's terrible, but like, this is a 2.5 hour like big studio budget horror movie, and like we just don't get these anymore. And the last 15 minutes are so rushed and terrible, and it sinks everything. But like there's just stuff in this movie that like no one's doing, that like it really makes me look at Blumhouse and be like, wow, you guys are just phoning it in. Because like they got like this director who essentially has made a bunch of the David Fincher like special features for his DVDs and stuff, and I think he's done commercials and music videos. But there's just stuff in this movie that like it really takes. Like, first of all, the movie opens with a 20-minute sequence that doesn't involve the rest of the movie at all. Like nothing. Like there's a couple of like there's a scene where he is on a computer, and it talks about Nepal, which is where the opening of the movie takes place, is in Nepal, and the opening sequence is like terrifying and like really creepy and has like this aesthetic to it that is really unpleasant. And then it's sort of like, and then the Empty Man like title sequence comes in, which I love when movies like they don't show the title until like 20 minutes in. But I'm a big fan of James Badge Dale, and he's great in this movie. He plays this retired detective who's sort of like trying to figure out where this girl has gone missing, and he finds out about the Empty Man. And I'm not going to really delve too much into like the mystery of it because there's so much going on. I could have watched another like 2 hours. This movie needed another hour. Like it got to a point where like it felt like the studio was like, oh, this needs to end right now. And so they just filmed something. Although after doing some reading, it turns out it's all from the director. Like he was not pressured to actually like do anything. He just like he kind of screwed it up. But everything before it is incredible. It reminded me of A Cure for Wellness, where like it's like not in like a plot way, but like in terms of like we get this big sprawling 2.5 hour like really good looking horror movie. There's a sequence where Dale is like he gets information to go to like the summer camp, and it's been run down for years, whatever. And like it has those great moments where like there's something behind him while he's doing something, and then it cuts back and it's gone. And like you wouldn't know, like there's no music or like insert shots that suggest anything. It's just like there's an object in the background, and then it cuts to like a computer screen, and it cuts back, and then it's gone, and you're like, what the hell? And then he happens upon like this. There's this sequence where it's still at the summer camp, and like there's like this big burning like thing. And he's like watching it. All of a sudden, like the stars in the sky are coming down and going up, and the fire flies up into the universe. And then there's like hundreds of these kids like walking around this fire. And then like all of a sudden they start walking, and then they walk towards him, and then like he just stops, and like he takes a step back, and they take one step forward, and he's like, what? And he takes one step back, and like all these people take a step forward, and it's just like it's nuts. Like this movie, like I'm telling you, in like 5 years, people will look back and they're gonna be like, people slept on this movie.
Well,
I think they're already. Yeah, I was gonna say already
yeah,
doing it.
It's
Get, like
a resurgence on
like I'm telling you, like you're gonna get to the ending and be like, man, why did this happen? But like the first 2 hours is really, really good, and like some of the best horror I've seen in a long time.
And it's so funny that you say that, because like when I saw the trailer to this, to me it just seemed very much reminiscent of the Bye Bye Man. Which I mean,
and the title is horrible.
I
and
like
the poster.
The Bye Bye Man, I think a lot more than most people. I don't think it's a good movie, but
I like the Bye Bye Man, which it's bad, but yeah.
I like the Bye Bye Man. I don't love it.
Yeah, neither do I. It's not good.
But it just seemed like very much like with the title being what it was, which it's the title of the comic book it's based off of or whatever. But, and then like just the trailer, the way it was cut, I was like, oh, it seems like it's gonna be that again. So I didn't go to it in theaters, and now I'm like, man, should I have gone and seen this in theaters?
I wish I would have too.
There's this great sequence where like these kids are on a bridge, and they're like, oh, if you blow in a bottle and then say like the Empty Man 3 times, he comes after you in 7, like a lot of that, like, you know,
urban legend.
Yeah, exactly. And then like there's a sequence where like these kids are blowing in the bottle, and they say the Empty Man 3 times, and like the camera like slowly zooms in on darkness for like 20 seconds, and it's just like you wait for something to happen, and like nothing does, and it's just like, oh my god, like I love stuff like this. So yeah, I loved this movie. And the last 20 minutes are really, really, really bad, but like the first 2 hours, I'm telling you, are just lights out horror, like classic stuff. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, I hope you guys watch it. I hope you guys like it as much as I hope I didn't build up too much, because I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
so.
it's only like $10 on Voodoo, so I might just buy it. I don't like renting. Every time I rent a movie, I always end up renting it multiple times anyways, because I'm just that type of person.
Yeah.
I'm a movie rewatcher. I do. And so it's almost always worth it for me to just buy, especially if it's like $10. You know.
Mine depends on the genre. Obviously, if it's a horror movie, I probably will just buy it.
Yeah.
Or a comedy, I'll probably just buy it.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose like dramas and stuff like that, I usually only rent, and I'm fine because I'm just not a drama person. But
I wish I saw The Empty Man in theater, because as we're talking about it, it's like I'm missing seeing a horror movie in the theater.
Yeah.
Like it's been a while since
I
mean
went to see
we've
both
seen
The
like
Wretched and The Rental around that time that it was
Mhm.
out, and I thought both of those were a lot of fun in the theater. So
like we've seen The Thing, and we went to Dracula and Frankenstein. We went to
that was
some
so
retro ones.
Mhm.
But I'm like, I'm missing just a new
Yeah.
horror movie in the theater. Like I just find one. I don't care how good or bad it is. I just want to be in a theater to watch a horror movie
I
again.
say the last new horror movie I saw in the theater was Freaky, and that was definitely a crowd pleaser.
Mine was Invisible Man, and that was last February.
You didn't see The Wretched or
Not in theaters,
The
no.
Rental in theaters? Oh my gosh. The Wretched was so fun.
The Wretched, I wish
Have
I
you
saw in the
seen that
theater.
one yet, Blake? I actually think you would like that. There's some cool stuff in that. It's fun.
I'll have to check it out.
It's the best Blair Witch sequel we've ever gotten.
Oh,
I would agree with that. It is very reminiscent of that series.
Yeah.
interesting.
Okay. We ready to go to the main course?
The main course, which is kind of an extension of fresh meat.
Pretty much. It's the freshest of meat.
It is, because we've all watched these in like what, the last 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah. Dope.
Horror Blindspots.
Who wants to go first?
I mean, I can go first. Mine is very fresh. I've talked about this before, where like my biggest blind spot in just movies in general is foreign language films. I've never. It's not that I don't. It's not like I actively avoid them. It's just something that I haven't gotten around to really until recently, and so I decided to pick. I ended up going with 2 different foreign language horror films, but I knew Casey hadn't seen one, and I didn't know if he'd see it before this episode, so I watched one that I knew both of you had. The first one I watched was The Orphanage from J.A. Bayona, and this movie was incredibly disturbing. Both of the ones I picked are kind of light on horror, because this one is definitely a horror movie, but I would say the drama aspect of it kind of takes front and center. It's definitely a ghost story that deals with grief and deals with essentially it's this woman who grew up in an orphanage. Her and her husband have adopted this young boy, and they've bought the orphanage now in her adulthood, and she's getting ready to fix it up to make it a home for disabled children. And weird things start happening. Her son starts saying that he has made these invisible friends. One of them is a boy named Tomas, who wears a mask over his head. And essentially what happens is this kid goes missing. And, everyone presumes that this kid is dead, except for the mother. And she's very adamant as like, no, I'm going to find him. He's not gone. I would know. And so that's essentially the setup to this very atmospheric gothic horror that ends on such a gut punch. But I just, my God, it really affected me. It's one of the few horror movies to really like actually make me cry at the end. It's a very emotionally involving movie that also just it has some good scare sequences in it. I really enjoy it. I would highly recommend it. There's not like jump scares or anything. It's very atmospheric.
There's one sequence that was
okay.
when they're playing the game.
Yeah, that's fair.
That
was pretty. That one did get me.
Yeah.
So, but it's not like The Nun where it's
it's more it's more like atmospheric than anything. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really liked it. It was a slow burn to a really heartbreaking ending. I can't imagine watching this as a parent.
Oh, I should probably rewatch it then.
Yeah, like
Because
feel like
I remember nothing about it except
I
that
feel
one
like
scene.
As a parent,
Yeah.
you will be utterly destroyed by this movie.
Yeah.
To be totally honest with you, like it was very, very gut wrenching. And yeah, I like it. Casey, you didn't get around to this?
I didn't get to this one. I watched Blake's Blindspot instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been on my list for a while too.
Yeah,
It's a good movie.
I really like it. It's like I said, it's one of the most harrowing endings I've seen in just about any horror movie. Definitely not a feel good type of thing. I had to watch Bob's Burgers before I went to bed because I was like, man, I'm not dreaming about this shit. Yeah, and then I watched. So Guillermo del Toro produced that one, but it was directed by J.A. Bayona. The next one I watched that I just actually finished this morning before I came here was Guillermo del Toro's Pan's Labyrinth, which not necessarily a horror movie.
It's like a dark fantasy.
Yeah, dark fantasy more like, but horror adjacent enough. And something
There's
like,
monsters in it.
Yeah, exactly. I consider myself a Del Toro fan, but I have not watched any of his Spanish language films. So I know that
you watched probably the best one. So
yeah. I know you gave Mimic 3 stars a while back.
I'm a big Mimic fan. Yeah.
And I've heard Devil's Backbone is really good.
That's a really good one too.
So I haven't seen either of those, but I'm trying to work my way back. And Pan's Labyrinth I knew was considered like kind of his magnum opus. Yeah. And I really like this movie. It's like The Orphanage. It's very dark. It's got some pretty harrowing sequences in it. Very much like everything that Del Toro does, I feel like the end is just very melancholy, dark, but also like has a sweetness to it. Like all of his stuff has like this underlying sweetness to it.
Mm-hmm.
Even the stuff that he produces, like The Orphanage, like Mama, there's always something that's kind of like maybe hopeful.
Yeah. I don't want to say too much about the ending because in case you haven't seen it, but there's definitely like a oh my god, that's the ending. But at the same time, like, oh, this is you're right. It's like a warm blanket type of thing.
Yeah. It's so weird because it's like it's something that maybe you shouldn't take comfort in, but it's also like it eases the sting a little bit because I mean the ending of this with the general.
Yeah.
Just, oh my god!
Oh, that guy's one of the best villains no one talks about.
Yeah.
Oh, he's incredible in this movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The scene where he like bottle whips the guy into oblivion. I was like, oh my god, like, just I mean, and you see everything. You see this guy's face get smashed in, and I'm just like, what am I watching right now? And that's in the first like half hour of the movie, and it just gets worse from there. Yeah, this is incredible. I did read. I was reading up on it afterwards, and I read that theaters in Mexico had to put up warnings about the graphic violence in this movie because people were thinking that it was a kids' movie since it was centered on a little girl, and they were bringing their young children to this. And I was like, yeah, I can't imagine being a young kid and sitting through this and not being traumatized. Yeah, I really liked this movie. I was glad to have filled like my blind spot with 2 movies that I think I rated both of them 4.5 out of 5. I very much enjoyed it. There's just something that I don't know. Both of these movies, I feel like as someone who's seen other things that Del Toro has either directed or produced, I feel like I kind of knew what I was getting into, but it was really fun to watch. Not fun to watch, but you know what I mean. So I enjoyed it. I don't know what you guys think of these.
Yeah, I mean, I like Pan's Labyrinth more. I harbor like some ill will towards it because that was the year that it won Best Cinematography at the Oscars when it clearly should have gone to Children of Men. So I kind of like hate this movie at the same time. But no, it's a like on a technical level, like it's so well made. Like Pan himself is just like this incredible creature, and his lair is is something else. Del Toro, like, just
the Pale Man.
yeah,
Terrifying.
yeah.
Doug Jones is incredible as both. He plays Fano and the Pale Man. He's just incredible.
For Fano, I saw a lot of similar movements that he does as Abe Sapien in the Hellboy movies too.
People talk about who's the dude that does the Peter Jackson stuff?
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis. Like, people talk about how like he does God work, and he does. But like
not if you talk to the Lord of the Rings CGI department.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't like him.
Really?
Wow.
Oh, is this fresh news? Yeah, they talk about how it was, motion capture, and they're like, sure, but we did most of the work. He was kind of just the stand-in for what we had to do.
Okay. Well, he was a great Kong. I'll go there. But anyway, like, we don't talk about Doug Jones enough. Like, as a, the guy is like super nice in real life, loves everyone, loves people, and just does this incredible work when he's, as an actor.
You always tell when it's him. That's the thing. Like, because he did some stuff for. No, I'm blanking. No, I'm thinking a different guy for it. But like every time I see Doug Jones in a movie, like, you can kind of tell that it's him, even though obviously like he's covered.
Yeah.
He adds character to each of his monsters that he plays.
For sure.
Yeah. Pan's Labyrinth is my favorite Del Toro movie. I love it. I think Mimic is the only one I haven't seen yet of his.
It's a big Studio B movie.
I'm all right with that.
Yeah. I still think for me it's a toss-up between The Shape of Water and I love Hellboy 2, The Golden Army. That movie just that's maybe one of my favorite like superhero comic book movies of all time. I absolutely adore that movie. And
Blade 2 is my go-to Del Toro comic book movie.
I like Blade 2.
I love Blade 2.
I think both of the Hellboy movies are better.
Oof.
Yeah. He takes a lot of elements actually from this movie and Hellboy. They have a lot of similarities between the Pan's Labyrinth and Hellboy.
Yeah, I was kind of noticing that too, especially Hellboy 2. I feel like, but yeah, also the first Hellboy. Now that I think about it,
I think they're both great.
Yeah. I think this is one of the great dark fantasy movies of all time. I think definitely leans more into that than
I was
horror.
telling Sam last night before you came, Casey, that if you wanted to have a really good double feature, you should watch a Spanish movie from the 70s called The Spirit of the Beehive. That heavily inspired Pan's Labyrinth. And Del Toro is a big fan, and so whenever you get a chance, you guys should check that out.
To watch that.
Sure.
Yeah. We love Pan's Labyrinth in our house. There's some Pan's Labyrinth figures up there.
Is there a Funko Pop for it?
Yeah, there's I have the Pale Man and Fano.
Wow.
And I have Del Toro. He's up there too, hanging out.
I almost got to meet Guillermo del Toro, and it just didn't happen. So
that's still a cool story.
Yeah.
I haven't.
I told you about. I think I told you guys about it one time. Yeah.
I haven't even almost gotten to meet a famous director. So.
All right, I can go next if you want, and leave Blake's for last. Does that work? Or do you, Blake?
Do you want me to go first? I'll go first.
Or do you want to leave mine for last?
Yeah, we'll leave one of the greatest horror movies ever made for last. Mine's Lake Mungo. This is not, like your guys' picks are bigger than mine in terms of like status and recognizability in the horror community. But Lake Mungo was a movie that I was always told to watch. I have a friend who's big into horror, and he was like, "You got to check this out." I never did. I never watched it, and then it got past that point of like it kind of just fell off my radar. And then and then it really feels like, and maybe I don't know who our Twitter followers, if we follow the same accounts or whatever, but like I've been seeing, I don't follow too many movie accounts on Twitter, but the ones that I do follow have sort of been doing a lot of tweeting and retweeting about Lake Mungo in the past like year. And it's kind of like, God, I should really watch that sometime. And it was Amazon Prime. And when you guys sort of pitched this, it was like, oh, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And I watched half of it that night. and I'll be honest, I shut it off because I was alone in my house and it was dark, and there's some sequences where it's a dark house at night, and so I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna just watch this now. I'm gonna watch half of it now, then I'll watch the other half some other night, which I have no problem doing. And this is a really effective movie. So it's sort of like a I don't know if I'd call it a found footage movie, but it's definitely. Well, I guess they do.
It's a mockumentary.
They well. Now, to be fair, they do actually like literally find footage in this movie.
Yeah.
There's a sequence where they find footage. But anyways, it's a mockumentary. It's done so well that I felt like I was watching an actual like Australian like TV documentary show.
They keep the illusion up.
Yeah. I love that whole thing. And so it's about this family who loses their daughter. I think she just drowns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's sort of some mystery around what happened, and maybe she's not dead. Maybe she, like she set this whole thing up, and then like you find out that she actually is dead, but like there's things about her that they slowly uncover as as this documentary goes on. And like I don't know if you guys saw it the same way I did. Like, did you see it as like she sort of pointed them in the direction of finding said evidence of thing that happened in past?
Yeah, I think that was what they were going at. That was her like last. Her last thing she like why her spirit was still around.
There's some really cool things where like the brother or the son of the family sort of like sets up these things for horror stuff, like for the fans. Like I should say the movie writes itself to where it gives that, but it ends up being sort of like a false dawn. But like there's really only one horror sequence in this whole movie. Like, like where they find the phone footage and stuff, and that whole thing was terrifying. But like this movie's ability to like keep you on edge. Like there's some incredible night photography with the sky over this town, the camera like slowly like gliding through the home and like just going into a room and someone's sitting on like a chair or is in a mirror. All that stuff is incredibly effective, and like the ending is sort of like meh, whatever for me. But like, man, that sequence where they find her phone and why she buried her phone is like, man, forget about it.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like a 3.5 star. I really liked it a lot. I know you liked it a lot more, but I thought it was a very good movie. And I'm glad I finally watched it.
Yeah, this is one that I've also like in the last year definitely heard more about. It wasn't even on my radar until about a year ago, and man, there's something about like the mockumentary style that gets me. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen The Fourth Kind.
Yes.
Like,
unfairly maligned movie.
Yeah, that movie absolutely wrecked me. Just absolutely wrecked me. And this one, God, I'm gonna have a hard time talking about this. Like this movie, like there were tears in my eye, like terror tears in my eyes for the last like half hour of this movie. Like as a kid, I was always very like, even from like a young age, I've always kind of been like fascinated with like morbid things like death, and as a small child, there was one point where I got it into my head that like I was going to die, and like I didn't know when it was going to happen, but like I remember as a kid thinking like I am going to, and so like this movie captures that feeling through the character of Allie like perfectly. And so like on that level, it brought back so many other things within me that I was just like, and the cell phone footage was really the cherry on top, where it was just, that image coming out of the darkness for her. Just, whoo. Man, it got to me. I watched this on my iPad because I needed to be able to put on headphones because Maria was like on the phone with her family and everything, and we live in an apartment, so like I wasn't gonna watch it on the TV and be like half distracted by this. So I put on my headphones, I watched it on my iPad, and like at one point Maria looked over at her phone conversation and like went like mouthed, "Are you okay?" Because it was literally just like so zeroed in on this. I had like a violent physical reaction at the end of this movie. Just like I don't know what it was. We got done, and I was like, we've got to go out and like do something because I can't sit with this right now. Yeah, absolutely loved it. I'm trying to give less movies 5 out of 5 right out of the gate, so I gave it a 4.
That's my Sam.
But oh my god, shit, man. This movie got me. This movie got me hard.
Sam, you should have gone last.
Sounded bad.
Yeah, now Casey's gonna be like,
this is why this movie sucked. No, I gave it the same score Blake did. I really did like this movie. I think it is one of the most effective, mockumentary movies. I think it works really well with that because, you know, like right away you get that horror stuff of like, ooh, there's a ghost in the house and they're capturing it on these cameras that are sitting in there. I'm like, okay, this is cheesy. Like this, it looks super fake, and it's like
how fake out is so brilliant.
And it is when they finally reveal that, I'm like, all right, now I'm in, and it keeps peeling back layers of this movie, which I really dug.
Yeah, I also loved how it sort of shows how a family goes through, like, not only like different stages of grief, but how each person goes through grief. Because the brother was sort of creating these images of his sister in these shots. And it's kind of like, oh, he like maybe that's his way of saying like, helping his. Well, yeah, he flat out says he's trying to help his mom move on, but maybe it's also
say, you know, like we don't think he really knows why he did it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then when that shot of the neighbor oh my god,
that's the part that I
got like. That was the first part where I started tearing up. I think that was actually the moment that Maria got off the phone. She's like, "Are you okay?" Because I literally like I like let out a little sound too. Because I was just like, "Oh my god."
That's the part. Like looking back at it now, that I'm like, do we need that? Because it doesn't pay off with the neighbor at all. For me. I don't feel it pays off enough for what it sets up with.
It feels cheap.
It's like, well, they left town 6 months later, and we never heard from them again. We can't find them. It's like,
well,
explain that a little more. That we could have used one thing with that to kind of explain it. I get it's more of she has mysteries they never knew about.
Yeah, I think
but
that was what it was.
But I think that's what the cell phone footage does, and her visiting the psychic both do that. Where we don't need the neighbor creeping around in the house that we've never met before, and he's not set up.
And then it never comes back. Yeah,
and never comes back. That is my only gripe really with this movie, is that setup has never paid off.
That is a really fair point. I will give that to you. It worked for me just because that scare in itself was effective. You know, like as someone who so like
it affected me too.
When I watched Black Christmas for the first time like 3 years ago, I was home by myself on Christmas Eve. And I literally went around the entire apartment, like looked in my closet, was like trying to find little doors to make sure that there was no secret compartments I didn't know.
Make sure Billy wasn't watching you.
People being in the house with me freaks me out. Like I don't even like over in my house when they're invited, let alone like anyone uninvited. Like nope. Hush to me is one of the most like anything home invasion freaks me the hell out. And so that one shot with the neighbor squatting behind the chair, I was like, fuck no, nope.
Before we move on, I do want to say there is an actual real Lake Mungo in Australia. So
never going.
Yeah.
Never going.
Just thought I'd let you know.
Yeah.
That is like one place on earth that I will never, ever, ever go. Oh my god. Now that you told me that, I'm even more scared.
Should we move on to Phantasm?
I'm just going to stay off Australia entirely now. Never going to Australia.
It's a beautiful country.
Have you, have you seen the video of the person in Australia who like turns their camera, they're like just is recording their toilet, and they just walk over to the handle and flush it, and the water's going down, and all of a sudden a spider just drops So I guess, and I don't know if this is a big thing or not, but I guess people in Australia, they'll flush their toilet first before sitting down, because sometimes spiders just like crawl up the. Anyway.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they got a lot of
lot of critters
and creatures in there. Yeah.
Something about like there's
plenty of snakes and scorpions and spiders.
There's something about like there's like let's just say there's 100 poisonous snakes in the world. Like 78 of them are in Australia. Or something.
Oh god. Geographical location. Like I have marked off geographical locations that I will never go to because of horror. And one of those is now Australia. The other one is Florida. I'm pretty sure my Letterboxd review of
there's no reason to go to Florida, period. I mean,
oh my god, why am I blanking on the name? The alligator crawl. For some reason I was thinking Crush. Crawl. My Letterboxd review is literally like, this movie gets 4 stars for being a great disaster gator flick. The state of Florida gets 0 stars for being a horrifying cesspool of things that'll kill you. And like, yep, I'm just like, nope, not happening. Not happening.
We are learning more and more about Sam Lenz every episode. Fear of alligators and crocodiles.
Yeah, fear of life.
I'm afraid of everything. That's why I like horror, because it gives me a safe space to be afraid.
Interesting. Yeah. I want to hear your thoughts on Phantasm now.
Phantasm was
I'm a big fan of this movie.
was my pick. This is a big blind spot for like horror series I've never seen. I've only jumped into the first one now. It was this or Eraserhead, and I was hoping to make Eraserhead at the state. We'll see if that happens. I don't think it will, but it's another blind spot of mine. But I went with Phantasm, also on Amazon Prime. Yeah, this is also one that's kind of been in my, like, ever since I got into horror. It's like your certain horror series, like obviously Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween come up first, and then you kind of peel back the layers and you get all the other great series in there, like Texas Chainsaw and Child's Play and Leprechaun. Evil Dead is in there, and then Candyman, and I would say under, like, right in that mix is also Phantasm. And it was just one I never got into. But yeah, I didn't love Phantasm, but I really liked it, and I liked the direction that this movie sets up and kind of the world that it sets up.
Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet.
And that's what I'm hoping. Like, this is a great setup for the batshit crazy stuff we can get in a sequel. Kind of like Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah. Whereas like Nightmare on Elm Street is pretty self-contained, especially in the dream realm. Then you get to the sequels and it's just batshit crazy giant bugs and giant Freddy Krueger and anything bonkers in that series. So that's what I'm hoping for Phantasm. Yeah, I think the Tall Man is a great looking character. I love that he's like this like a grave robber / mortician. I think that's a really fun setting for this horror movie, basically taking place in graveyards or in a funeral home. I swear I caught this at some point because I vividly remember the scene of the kid climbing into the casket and peeking through it, like trying to hide. I remember watching that part at some point. I also like that the Tall Man uses Jawas as his henchmen. I think that's really fun. I was not expecting any Jawas. I didn't hear any Utinis, but that's okay. Yeah, Blake, maybe you can tell us why you like this before I say why I didn't care for it as much as I thought I was going to.
I don't think this movie is like very good. I mean, like, it is, but it's not like an all-timer. Well, it is and it isn't, you know. Yeah. Like, it's a weird thing. Like, there's like, for me, and
maybe it's a series as a whole is the all-timer part of it.
No, I was there before. I was at that conclusion, in my opinion, before I even saw the sequels.
Well, it's a messy movie.
It is.
But it does a lot of cool things.
It has a lot of ideas,
mm-hmm.
and a lot of great ideas that don't really maybe make sense together. But I don't know. Like, I love it feels like I love the locations for one. I love the funeral home area. I love the bar they go to. I love the house they live in. Like, I love that whole thing. I'm generally a big fan of like 70s, like, house design and clothes. I think
shaggiest of steps.
Yeah, the main kid's not great.
No, he's really bad.
I love Reggie Bannister in this movie. As It's the ice cream man.
Yeah,
But
he's great.
I don't know. Like it feels like a folk, like horror, but then it turns into like a science fiction, like apocalyptic, like there's like
It's got a little
another
Hellraiser in it.
there's another planet in
Yeah.
this movie. Like
Well,
what?
and that's the thing. Like this movie, I feel like does so many things that later movies, like I'm watching it and I'm like, oh my god, like that's kind of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Oh my god, that's kind of
Yeah.
The Gate. Oh my god, that's kind of Hellraiser.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like there.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not necessarily saying like these movies directly copied Phantasm,
Right.
but like there are elements that Phantasm does, much like Black Christmas, where it's like Black Christmas isn't considered like the start, like Halloween is considered the start. But if you watch one of these, it's like, well, this kind of did that idea first.
Yeah.
And maybe not the best, but it did it
Mhm.
first.
Yeah, I mean,
you know?
if I made like a top 20 list of the best horror movies of the 70s, like this movie for me for sure makes it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I've seen it a few times. Every time the first time I watched it, I was like, that is one of the best horror movies I've ever seen, like hands down. And I've watched it 2 or 3 times since. It's definitely gone down for me. The 3 stars is, I think, is a pretty fair. I think for me it'd be a 3.5. And I really like it. I don't think it's as good as I remember it being, but like it's sort of like Wayne's World 2 for me, where it's like I just love being in this universe. And I don't know what it is. But I really dig Phantasm a lot. I love the name. I love like the music that's in it.
The music is incredible. in
Yeah.
this movie.
Music is
Yeah.
just top notch.
I think the best way to describe it for me is what Sam said. It's a messy movie.
Yeah.
And that's why it's at a
Yeah.
3 out of 5, because I do love, like, the music is incredible. Tall Man looks great. The settings are great. The gore effects are great. I love that with the ball going into the guy's head and it just like oozes out of it. It's incredible.
Wait till you watch the sequels.
And I might have just watched the clip on YouTube as a kid because like I used to do that a lot with horror movies. Was I would watch it in like clips, but like I remember the orb scene going into the guy's head and spurting the blood.
I don't know. For me, when I see like a room or like a set design where it's like incredibly bright white and then there's tons of blood, like that really gets to me.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for a brightly lit white set, and this has plenty of that.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I really dig this movie. I saw it in my early 20s for the first time on like at night by myself in a basement, and I was like, this is the movie that I really needed to see right now. And maybe I hold on to that memory when I watch it. I don't know, like you know, if you really want to get into where like the movies take off, is like 2 and 3 are just nuts.
I'm excited to see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
number 2, like there's a lot of movies that like deal with the apocalypse, but like Phantasm 2 feels like they filmed it in the apocalypse. It just has that like desolate feeling to it. And yeah, man, there's just some stuff in number 2 that is just like it's wild. So I can't hear you guys.
Yeah.
When you guys eventually watch the 2 and 3. 4 is really good too, but like not as good as 2 and 3.
Well, they did one in 2016, right? That was
Yeah,
actually
Ravager.
released posthumously after what? Who's the guy that plays the tall man?
Angus Scrum.
Angus Scrum. Yeah. He because he passed away. But my God, he is great in this movie.
Yeah.
The scene
Boy, just so the way he says boys and boy, it's so
scene when
good.
he chases the kid
Yeah.
always the
Yeah.
board, I'm like, nope, like
Yeah.
that to me, like it felt like the library basement scene from the first It was almost like an homage to that sequence because like it was framed very similarly with the shadowy tall figure.
Yeah.
Right. Like I dug it.
Yeah.
I dug it a lot.
Reggie Bannister full on becomes like this action hero in like the 3rd one.
Does he
So
really?
yeah.
Oh my
Nice.
God.
Yeah.
He was definitely my favorite character in the movie.
Yeah.
Does he keep the ponytail?
I think so.
Oh,
I
thank
think
God.
so.
Because the ponytail.
He's got a great
is what's
ponytail.
so-
And then in the 4th one, it's the kid is back. I forget if he's in 2 and 3, but he's definitely in the 4th one, and he plays an adult, like
Oh,
going back for his brother and stuff. It's just
is
it's crazy.
Is he better in the fourth one than he is in. I mean, you know, you give a little bit of credit to kid actors.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they're kids. You know, they're not all gonna be
the girl from Psycho Gourmet.
Yeah. Yeah. God, they should make a Phantasm movie with her.
Yeah, but who would they get to play the tall man?
Doug Jones on stilts.
Yeah.
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 Doug Jones is already pretty tall.
He is a tall guy, actually. Yeah. Use less CGI modern Hollywood. Just hire tall people.
Yeah.
I'm stoked to watch the sequels. I'm excited to see where this series goes. Like I feel like if I would have watched this in high school and like bought the 4-pack DVD of Phantasm, I probably would have loved this movie a lot more.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm gonna rewatch these down the road and love it even more.
As it stands, yeah, I feel like
it's one I definitely do want to rewatch.
I'll be honest, when I think of movies that I want to rewatch the most, Phantasm always comes up in my head. Like, gosh, I should really rewatch Phantasm.
Yeah. Well, it's just so like
it's a breezy movie.
It's a balm movie for me for sure.
Yeah, I haven't seen any other movie like it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's nothing
like
Phantasm. I was watching it and like, to be honest, I kind of just expected a straightforward slasher. Like, I was like, okay, you know, like Blake really likes this series, like whatever, you know, it's about a guy who utilizes metal orbs to kill people.
Yeah.
And then within like the first half hour, I'm like, that's not what this movie is.
No. Yeah.
And I kind of fell in love with the fact that it's just very much its own thing. Did you just watch it too for the first time? For the first time.
Oh wow!
Like I said, I was really excited when I heard your guys' blind spot picks because I'm like, both of those are blind spots for me too.
Yeah.
Like, granted, it was more work because I had to essentially watch 3 movies anyways, but like, I had the time, so I did it. I was like, this is awesome. You know?
Yeah, I love Phantasm. I don't think it's a great movie, but I really dig it a lot. Really dig it.
Mm-hmm.
I was really happy by the end of like all my watches. I'm like, oh my god, I just watched
some good
3,
stuff.
like baller movies. Like I dug it. So
yeah, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to rewatch it and do the whole series. I'll probably do a binge of at least the sequels. Probably watch those like back to back.
If we end up doing a big theater room in October, a theater room night, we should do like this or maybe 2 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or
we need to do,
because I feel like
series. You know, J.J. Abrams is the reason that I got the 4K restoration that I watched.
Really?
Yeah, I was not expecting to see the Bad Robot logo come up on.
What?
The Robot logo comes up.
Oh, disgusting.
Yeah. Because J.J. Abrams is apparently a huge fan.
Interesting.
He was talking to the director one time.
Weird. I haven't seen him rip off anything in that. So.
Nothing from the 70s or 80s.
He was talking to the director. He wanted to set up a screening, and the director was like, well, the only print that I have is like awful. And so J.J. Abrams was literally like, you can use my people. We'll do a 4K restoration of it. And so they did, and they released it on Blu-ray, and that's what's on Amazon Prime right now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
Super cool.
It looks really good.
And when I watched it, it was on DVD, and I think that was some sort of remaster as well.
Oh,
and
if you're a sucker for a white sets like I am, this is like it's chef's kiss.
I'm a sucker for a 4K restoration. Let me tell you.
Oh, it's so.
Did I mention that Eraserhead next week is in 4? It's a 4K restoration. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be miles away though.
Okay.
I'm waiting for them to do Phantasm 2, and then I'll watch that.
I'm telling you, like these late night. I like that they have chosen 3 very different movies though for late night at the State.
What was the first one?
The first one was Krampus.
Oh yeah.
And now they're doing Eraserhead. Like it's cool that it's not all like.
At least they've gotten better since the first one.
I like.
We're like Krampus.
That was actually my when I first did a review on that movie. I called it Krampus.
I don't like Krampus either, Sam. I'm sorry.
I know. I get why people don't like it.
Trick or Treat is the Doherty movie they should go with for a late night.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. If they do a late night Trick or Treat in October,
probably would be the first time Trick or Treat is played in a theater in South Dakota.
Probably.
Guarantee it.
Yeah.
Oh, also, this is the first time Eraserhead's ever played in Sioux Falls at a theater. So,
is it really?
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm not to go off on a whole state rant or whatever, but like, I really hope October they go for it.
I know.
Mhm.
I hope October comes and like,
I hope I get a
we'll
message.
have to do. You guys know me. 9 o'clock last night was late for me, and so like it would. Be
I was,
really nice.
yeah.
It would be
yeah.
really nice. if,
Shut up,
like,
you old man.
Yeah.
If
Just drink your
if
coffee and
during-
watch a horror movie.
It'd be great if they played the thing at like 5. That way I can get home
Yeah,
by 7, and then
exactly.
Be in bed by 8.
I know.
Sam, give me your damn horror card and get out of here, please.
Like I love
I'm
the
10 years
vibe-
older than you, and I
love
was
the
even
vibe of
jacked for.
late night screenings.
I will just say I hope the first weekend of October they don't play anything awesome because we have some cool stuff planned for the first weekend of October.
Well, we just might have to
Who's-
plan that stuff.
who's
for
we?
1 o'clock.
I'll tell you after.
Oh,
Oh, sweet.
oh, is that the okay?
It's
Yeah.
a thing we have not announced yet. Tease is out there. I will tell you after,
Did you
Sam.
guys even tell me?
Probably not.
I actually
Am I part of this?
have I heard of this before?
I think we've talked a little bit about. I don't know if I've confirmed anything with you yet.
Oh,
We'll talk about it.
what?
Let's-
hold on.
Tim Allen in a horror movie. Let's do it.
That's the next fan slash.
Speaking of fan
We're doing
slash,
a table read of Chopper
Oh
Reloaded.
man, I already got a good one for Tim.
let's do Tim Allen.
Tim Helen.
Right now?
No, not right now.
Oh.
We're doing Saved by the Bell right now.
Man, I got a really good Tim Allen one. I'm not gonna lie.
We'll do Tim Allen next time.
I'm gonna do mine first because mine is I'm not as familiar with Saved by the Bell as you guys. So
Shame.
What a youngin'. Didn't watch.
He's
Saved by
older
the
than
Bell.
you.
I know.
I like Saved by the Bell. I haven't watched it extensively like most 90s kids. I don't know how.
I'd be suspect if you didn't like
Mhm.
Saved by the Bell.
I do like Saved by the Bell. Yeah, I've actually recently watched some of it on Hulu because it's on Hulu now.
Mhm.
And
Really?
Yeah, and some.
I
of
thought it was only on
is-
Peacock. Interesting.
The new show. Is
Oh,
on
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
the new
okay.
show is Peacock right now. So I've been enjoying it. Some of it seems familiar, so I know I probably watched an episode or two as a kid. But my fan slash of the Saved by the Bell characters is I would put them in a Scooby Doo movie.
Oh,
And obviously Screech is Shaggy.
Surprising.
Yeah.
Screech is Shaggy.
Okay.
You know, you've got
Duh.
Yeah, like obviously. Zach is Fred because he's like
a douchebag.
the
Yeah.
douchebag, cocky leader. I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm blanking on the actresses' names or the character names.
I got the
It's
actresses'
terrible.
names. Tiffany Amber
Lisa
Thiessen.
Turtle.
She is
Elizabeth.
played by Velma. Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Thiessen.
Kelly
I know-
Kapowski.
I know it. Yes, Kelly Kapowski. She was the other one. So Kelly Kapowski is going to be my Velma, or not my Daphne.
Yeah.
Because she's you know,
Gorgeous.
yeah, she is. And then I just think it would be really great to see Tiffany as Velma. I think she could stretch it, like very much like Linda Cardellini type going into that role.
Yeah.
So
okay.
that would be it, and then obviously you'd have a CGI Scooby Doo.
Hold on. Who's playing Daphne?
Kelly,
Okay, who's playing Velma?
Tiffany.
They are the same person.
Yeah.
Wait, oh my God. Okay,
So there's
for some reason, no.
Elizabeth.
Mark Voorhees is Daphne.
Lisa Turtle.
Yes.
Okay.
Lisa Turtle is Daphne
All right,
because why not?
I like it.
Right? Like, yeah. I don't have a lot of like deep meaning behind all of these. It's just.
It's
I
also a
could
big
see-
stretch for you to do Scooby Doo as
Yeah.
well.
Right.
That's hard.
You're not very familiar with the franchise. You know?
Yeah. So I decided to take a franchise that I am less familiar with and match it with a franchise that I
There you
know
go.
from heart. And there you go. Saved by the Bell cast as the Scooby Doo
Mhm.
gang.
Who-
and Mario Lopez would be the villain, a la Scrappy Doo from Scooby.
No,
Yeah.
no, no, no,
who
no, no.
who
no,
voices Scooby then?
Scooby would also be voiced by Screech.
no. You got to have Mr.
Yeah,
Belding.
Mr.
as
Belding
the
should
bad
play
guy.
the bad guy. Slater could be
That
Scooby
would
Doo.
be good. That would be
Or
good.
even the guy who owns Max is I think his name is Max, but
Yeah,
who owns the hangout that we go to.
Is it Max's Diner?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
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 Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. I got that. I literally had to pull up Saved by the Bell on IMDb, guys. It's just not something I'm familiar with. But yeah.
Mine is super easy. I'm going to keep it short.
Cast itself.
It's Scream.
Yep.
Saved by the Bell and Scream.
Mm-hmm. It casts itself.
Yeah,
it does.
It's just like when you guys were like Saved by the Bell, my mind went Scream.
Yep. Yeah, cast itself.
I also thought about doing like Cutting Class with Brad Pitt in the late '80s, but yeah, Scream.
Yeah.
All right, I'll roll through mine quick. I'm gonna cast the characters from Saved by the Bell in Beetlejuice.
Nice.
Screech
Beetlejuice.
Screech is Beetlejuice. Samuel Screech Powers is Beetlejuice. Yeah, I just want to hear Screech yell as Beetlejuice. He needs to say it's showtime. Nice fucking model. He needs to say it all. As far as Lydia, I think I'm gonna go with Lisa Turtle can play Lydia.
She would be a good Lisa, a good Lydia. Yeah.
Just because of their chemistry on the show, I think that'll be my go-to there. Alec Baldwin's Adam. I'm gonna go with Zach Morris. Can play that. Gina Davis is Barbara. I will say Kelly Kapowski can fit into that role pretty great. Catherine O'Hara's Lydia's mom, Delia. Elizabeth Berkley. Jesse can fit into that. And then I guess the dad would be Mario Lopez. Jeffrey Jones, I guess he can fit into that. And then Otho is obviously Mr. Belding. I think that he would fit that really well, and that'd be a lot of fun to have Mr. Belding play Otho. Kind of looks like him in a way. Yeah, so that is Beetlejuice, starring the cast of Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize for not knowing Saved by the Bell better.
It's all right.
It's not us who'll judge you. It'll be history.
Yeah. It'll be, yeah, exactly. Like I said, I like it. I'm not as familiar with it. So.
It's okay, Sam.
If we were to do a fan slash of the Scooby-Doo cast, I would be, it'd just be the Scooby-Doo cast. But
they've all been in horror movies.
They're great. They're so good.
With each other, most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tim Allen next time for fan slashing.
Tim Allen and Tom Hanks cast the leads of Toy Story and do a horror movie together.
Bonus points if you can fit Tom Hanks in there.
Yeah. Sounds good.
I got mine already.
All right. Awesome.
I do not.
I'm going to write down because I'm going to forget already.
Mm-hmm.
So Tim Allen and Tom Hanks, or just Tim Allen?
Tim Allen.
Just Tim
and
Allen.
If you fit Tom Hanks in, bonus points, you get Buzz Lightyear action figure if you do. Should we wrap this thing up, boys?
Yep. Yeah.
Since you want me to wrap it up, Sam?
Yeah, I'm terrible at remembering all the places our podcast is. I just open up my Apple podcast app and it's there.
Hey, guess what? That's one place you can find this podcast is on Apple Podcast. It is on Spotify. Google Play we are on as well. We are on anchor.fm. That is where the hub for this show is. Also on backlot605.com. That's where you can find Sam's weekly reviews of Creep Show as the series goes on here.
Do you get to watch those a week early or something? Or
this week I didn't. Is the season 4 screener?
It is available. It is
Okay.
available.
Sweet.
Yep.
I'll try and get to that today.
Yep. And we do have some Shudder reviews and movies coming out. We're fingers crossed for some interviews from Shudder coming up pretty soon.
Hashtag
if it happens. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Check out the main Backlot 605 podcast. We're doing Francis Ford Coppola this month. Nothing horror in there. We're saving his Dracula for a series down the road. I think we'll be doing that very soon. But yeah, go check it out there. And then we're all on Letterboxd. You can find us if you want. We're all on Letterboxd.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, got anything else? I think that's all the plugs we got.
No,
I don't think so.
Should we hit the music?
We should hit the music.
The music. We'll spook you later.
Spook you later.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.